The Scar Fancy Cam. Wait a second. I knew I recognized that. Oh, it's a duplicate. That means that some of the points you'll be spending are gonna be on duplicates, and in order to complete the supply line and replace it, they're gonna be wasted. Hi, I'm Dangerlander1K on Twitch.tv. Come on over, hang out sometime. And I'm Way of the Dangerlander on YouTube. Don't ask me what the branding idea behind that was, because at the end of the day, I'm just a dude. But I want to rant, and what I may say won't always make sense because I don't have my notes. They really help a lot. Today, some interesting things happened. There was like a night one right. The redemption of this whole experience is that I joined a really like solid bot paced community. Oh no, vomiting cat, vomiting cat, vomiting cat. She vomited not on the carpet. I'll go get it after this. I joined a nice like a nice group, bot pacing, very slow, cleared everything. We were doing that mission where it's on like the boat, it's a wreck, I forget what it's called, and you gotta like tie the lines of the helicopter to the supplies or some shit like that. Anyway, we failed on that one, but for the most part, like leading up to it, the missions were very clean, very nice. So that was nice. It's always nice when I jump in a team and like they just get it. They handled the hag nice, they handled hordes nice, they let me heal them. I was running support. They were clearing everything. We didn't even need a melee up front. It was a very very resourceful, very patient team, and that really, I gotta say, more and more I really appreciate when I'm on teams that like respect how dangerous the game can get and how much time you can waste if you don't respect the game, like, and how dangerous it could get, right? I think when people take their time, they're going to over time, overall, increase the rate that they get supply line points because they're actually playing by the rules that the game sets for them. When people who try to rush through because they're impatient, they don't have a lot of time or whatever, they're gonna die a lot, and they can spend the entire day just failing, right? These groups, you know, that are all wonky and stuff. I'm always going to say that my caveat is that if a team is organized, they can definitely speed through a map, I guess, if they're very twitchy but organized in their twitchiness. But you know, most match-made teams and most online teams are going to benefit from slowing things down. So I'm happy that I had that experience because I really needed it. There are two other experiences that I had to note today, and I'm not going to like showcase them because I feel like it's kind of embarrassing for these guys, and I don't want to you know, like normally, you know, I'm not here trying to point fingers at anybody, so I don't really care if I show other people's gamer tags, but if I come close to talking shit right now, I don't want to like target anybody, right? So in one match, let me see. Yeah, in one match, there was a guy. I quick played into it. It was a guy with 3 bots. I didn't want to disrupt that, and I must have for like 10 minutes watched this guy lost in the hedge maze. You know, the one right before Roger's Mansion. I mean, he was lost. I can't even explain. I'm like, you know, he must have entered and exited. I have people in chat that saw it. He must have entered and exited the hedge maze like 6-7 times, man. He just kept getting lost, looking like he just didn't see it. And I'm watching it, I'm waiting like, oh, he's just about cleared the whole map. Like, he put in a lot of work. He's dodging snitches, he's dealing with reekers. I mean, you know, very careful. His health is winding down. He even ran back to like a crate that he saw all the way back in the beginning. He ran all the way back. got some health back, you know, went back out there. I mean, he was just taking so much, and me and somebody from my chat are like waiting to queue in, but we don't want to like upset his run or spawn more shit because we don't have the decks, we don't have the ammo, so we thinking he just got to get through that maze, he'll be fine. I mean, it's right there, you know. But I guess he's new, and he's playing on veteran, so he's lost. He doesn't have sense of direction. He's not familiar enough with the map. He just decided, I'm gonna play on veteran solo. And so I'm waiting and I'm waiting and I'm waiting and I'm thinking, man, this guy needs some help, but I don't wanna upset his run, because you know you got that rhythm with those bots and they're helping you out. They have all this other stuff. He's used to that, you know. So I'm waiting and I'm waiting, and then you know, like he's almost dying. Like stuff like the director is messing with him at this point. It's spawning shit over here, spawning shit over there. He's got to run from 2 mutations. I'm like, this guy's not gonna make it, man. We're not gonna be able to play, you know. So finally I'm like, you know what, this guy is making me nervous, right? I really wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt. Poor guy. I figured once he'll learn, he'll go, aha, it's the best way to learn, right? But it was not happening, man. And by like the umpteenth time that he came back out on the same side, never made it through the maze, I said, all right, fine. So I got in the bot, I took over Doc, and I started pinging the map, and he was following me, pinging. I'm leading the way, pinging. We dodged a couple of things, pinging. You know, I'm turning corners. I'm feeling my way through. I've done this like a million times. This is the orientation of the hedge maze. There's maybe like 3 of them at least, where you actually have to cut through like another like greenhouse area and then go out the other entrance of it. And I believe there's a sleeper in there. And then you got to go around from the other end. So you know, I lead him through there, and I'm pinging the corners, and even when I hit a rear end, I'm like, I know where I am, and so I'm finally hitting the stone wall that's leading us to the stairway that leads to the safe room, and I turn around and he's a bot, dude, left DC'd. I don't know what happened. He's just a bot, and I'm there by myself, no deck, no guns, surrounded by bots, you know, that are all like a quarter health, right? And I'm just thinking, you know, then I'm gonna lose, and I'm gonna be so demoralized, and this guy's not even here to, you know, if he has to like, if his shit crashed, he's gotta like log off, try to get back in. Man, I'm looking at that bot, and like and I don't even know how much time. I must have been there for like 20 minutes just watching this guy at this point, you know, like it feels like that. Like it feels like I was just there, wondering when the punchline was going to happen, and not realizing that the punchline was going to happen to me. So I almost went crazy, right? And then luckily I had to take a break because I had to spend time with some family, and then I had to turn the game off. I said, I'm tired of this shit. You know, I'm really optimistic, man. I'm forgiving and stuff like that. But man, something clicked in my brain, and I was just like, man, fuck this. And then I come back from lunch, right? And I'm like, okay, all right, let's you know, I'm doing this for the people, man. I'm learning this game. I'm doing this for the people, right? One of my first games back, man. One of my first games back. Again, somebody from chat is joining me. We're quick playing and stuff like that. I of course have muted the shit. If you guys know me, I muted because I'm not interested in getting, you know, lit, you know, or tilted or whatever on you know, at strangers. But I know what I'm doing anyway. So I queue up in this game, and I noticed one of the first things that happened is one of the other guys that also spawned in, he left. And then my buddy is telling me, yo, he's in voice chat right now screaming to everybody to leave because he wants to play alone with bots. So one, I thought that shit was funny because nobody can control who they quick play with. What if the people that left just wind up quick playing back into his match? You know, and if they were to just exit the game and then try to get back in some, like if they just quit the game or whatever, in some cases, you know, the game will alert them to, do you want to rejoin? I mean, he can't control that, right? He can't control it. He's playing online. He wants that progression. You can't control that. That is an essential element of the game, is playing with other players. If you do happen to play with bots, fine. You know, you can orient yourself to that, but you can't control like who joins your game, because the minute you tell X people to leave, there's other people gonna fill in those spots, you know, within 5-10 minutes after that. So I just thought that's silly, so I didn't leave. I just kept emoting thumbs up, you know, just positive reinforcement. Okay, not a problem. Okay. The story tied to online, can't do it offline. There is a single player mode, right? But progression, that is the supply points that you get to unlock the supply lines, as well as any like accomplishments, also known as achievements. Achievements and supply points cannot be earned from the solo play. However, what they've done for the sake of being able to enjoy the story is that in the solo campaign, you have access to the full deck, no restraints. So I don't know how they intended that to feel, because people obviously like progression and they want to unlock the cosmetics and do all that stuff. And I'm not sure if solo campaign was meant to test their like fantasy build, you know, which doesn't really work out, because the way that you operate around bots versus players can feel different. And so what cards you'll put in play and what you'll do with those cards and how you'll benefit from the cards of other people will change how you think about your deck. So I don't really think that it applies. It doesn't really feel like that. So if people want to play solo campaign and really like make a deck that works and then utilize it towards progression, they don't have an option. If you play alone, no meta progression, no supply lines, no achievements. And if you play online, then you're going to be match made. The only way you get to play online alone is if the people that joined you decide on their own to leave. So this guy is apparently screaming in voice chat, and then he starts hitting me and like shooting at me, and then he's like, he doesn't want to leave the room, you know, and I could tell, you know, chasing after him within the first mission, this guy was like really reckless. Like he was running past, he was running into sleepers, and he was shooting cars, and he was, you know, he was just running forward. And I think, you know, his experience with bots is that they can mow down a lot of stuff and like save him from things. And also being a single player kind of like really reduces the scale of how many mutations show up and how intense the hordes are when they come. So he just decided that the way he wanted to experience the game was in a way that he could not possibly control if he wanted to, right? And I gotta say that the game is really exhausting. You know, the game is exhausting to play because its design philosophy is built on the hope that people will come together. It literally presumes a team that will respect the time that it gets to become experienced, will constantly work together, they won't run off from each other, no lone wolves, that they will do some homework, they'll understand how this game was meant to be played compared to other games that are faster, more fast-paced. And we're only like, I don't know, I want to say like, what was it? It came out on the 7th early access, and then it was what day was that? The 12th global release. So it's only 9 days, you know, since that. It's under 2 weeks, you know. So I feel like maybe there's a lot of people still getting the game, they're just jumping into it. You know, so I think I understand that there's going to be a lot of inexperience still. We're going to be dealing with players that are using those same instincts. But I gotta say, man, like a lot of people are sharing information, a lot of people are streaming it, there's like easily 20 to 30,000 people watching it on Twitch every day that are absorbing this information. There are people on Reddit that are talking about this. The game, the information about the game is being dispersed, and what makes if the game's already exhausting, what makes this game 2.5 times exhausting is running in. They might as well be the same guy. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's like a type of person that is in like 4 out of 5 games that I could play into that has a single-minded idea about what he's going to do, no matter what the mitigating circumstances are, no matter who comes on the team, what direction they go, no matter what. Like no, like doesn't matter. Like they prioritize teamwork below whatever their heart tells them to do. And then like 99.9% of the time that results in undue chaos. Jetting around corners into sleepers, shooting through enemies to the birds behind them or the cars behind them, barreling through doors that have this door's alarmed notice on it, and it makes this game less enjoyable. Like, this game is tough, but this constant impatience that I keep running into is making this game less enjoyable. And I know that part of it is my own fault because of how I play single play queues. You know, I'm a streamer, so it's like the vibe that I need from other people that I'm gonna like be in party chat with, it's gotta be about the chat, it's gotta be about showcasing the game and really working together. And you know, it's like I can't, no matter how much people want to play with me, the truth of the matter is that there is a difference between people who want to play with the streamer and people who stream that are ready to co-stream. And the difference is that the people who stream know that there is another responsibility, right? To kind of elevate your like social etiquette and to keep it there. Don't take super long breaks in between missions. My apologies to the people that, you know, that might feel like selected because of this. You know, but when you're in the team and you're working together, you gotta let us know if you're going away. You know, sense of humor. I have a really dry, like in private, my sense of humor is really broad. I find a lot of things funny. I'm not super sensitive about a lot of different types of jokes. But on stream, you know, where we don't know who's in the audience, you want to treat it like almost like The Office, and you want to be a little bit more sensitive to the idea that I want to create an inclusive environment. I'm sure anybody who wants to grow in an online community, or you know, wants to have an inclusive environment, because we certainly didn't come here to make people feel like shit. Some people get famous doing that, but that's not what I want to do, right? So there are a lot of other agreements and conversations that need to happen before I open up. And unfortunately, I can't go to another. I don't believe I would not. I can't go to another broadcaster this early on in my Twitch career. And when I say early, I don't mean like early like I just started doing it. I mean like early in terms of like my numbers, without showing that I have something to lose. And by something to lose means when you have an audience, and this is like a little bit of a digression, but just to, I'm bringing you into my world a little bit. If you got an audience, you don't want to fuck with that, you know, and somebody else has an audience and they don't want to fuck with that, then you have professional respect for each other and for each other's audience and what it took to build that. So you decide quietly on the sidelines what kind of show you want to create, and that's something that you really try to commit to, or maybe even commit a schedule to, or you know, you just get to know each other. Like there's like a synergizing from the business aspect that has to happen between two people that decide that they're going to try to entertain people, right? And if it ain't that, it's unfair for me to place that burden or responsibility on random people that didn't sign up to be a content creator, and then they're jumping in my party chat and I'm holding them up to a standard and quietly kind of going, man, that's fucked. I can't, you know, like, you know, because of this little thing, that little thing, something they said, a slur that they used, you know, things that I normally wouldn't care about because I'm not their parents, but I'm trying to do something, right? So that creates a necessary barrier between me being able to, let's say, explore in-depth Nightmare, because I do think that you need a crew of people that you like and you're willing to fight and die alongside repeatedly while learning this almost like raid-like encounter that can last a half an hour, if not longer, while you carefully, you know, 20 minutes to 40 minutes easy, you know, while you carefully make your way through a mission. Although there's some speed runs, but you got to learn the routes and what you can do, what you can't do. So those kinds of discussions are really what I think would make the game shine. It's the discussions and the group problem solving that will make the game shine. And I know for a fact that that I can't show that to you at this point in my career, at my place. And if I were trying to like showcase Nightmare as a solo queue person, all I can do is show you. I could show you definitely disappointment after disappointment after disappointment due to dumb mistakes. Some of them are made by me because I get so demoralized at a certain point where I stop paying attention, and that's how I've been feeling when I start the stream, where like I don't I don't feel as like I have the momentum anymore, because I beat the game on recruit, beat it on veteran, posted out tips so that people could get started, not masterclass tips, not like, this is the build you need, because I don't know what your playstyle is, and I do think you need to decide if you like shotguns, if you like being speedy, if you like being a sniper, if you like melee. Do you want to buff the team? Do you want like a paladin build? Like you figure that shit out. I don't want to tell you that, but so and for me, a build that works for me would really have to work for me through Nightmare, but I can't test it in Nightmare because of this grand degree of variation of the folks that are in the game deciding, like, not to play the game as it is, but to try to brute force their approach to the game through it, no matter how much the game tells them I'm not that game. Like, this is the game. It is problem solving, it is methodical, it is often deliberate. There are occasions where you want to race past areas, but there are many situations where it looks like you should be racing past it, but you will just create a lot more problems. Race in the boat. The boat is a constant situation, in Act 1. There's constant horde spawning. You have to run. And there are other situations where you have to be very objective oriented. But there are some situations like that first path, the floor is lava, in the very first mission in Resurgence. And I posted that mission yesterday to show that a deliberate path across that is safer and will get people through the first mission with more health than running all the time, if you just take the time and work together with your team and clear things out and avoid falling the horde. I showed that. So for that reason, as much as like I would like to sustain Back for Blood as like a primary or priority content offering on my YouTube, I have limitations, man. I've hit kind of like a wall, and I'm getting very frustrated. And so that's my this is like a polite rant, because I'm talking to a lot of like problem solvers and diligent gamers and stubborn people, and maybe some people that I'm indirectly like fingering out in the crowd, but I don't mean any disrespect. It's just that this game is like work, man. It's like it's work, and it's hard to figure out how to show progression when there's so many variables, right? So the basic tips pretty much still apply. There are some notes that I think I started to put together, but like my first one was Nightmare. Is it fun? Right? In Nightmare, every zombie is like an event. Trauma resist and or extra lives are very important when you're learning the ropes at the beginning of Nightmare. And the fourth point, based upon people that I were watching, was that once you get your deck going, you want to clear your area very fast. You don't want to linger, but you want to clear enemies very fast, because random hits do a lot more damage, both to your health and to trauma. So you got to be like Morgan in The Walking Dead when they found him when he was crazy. I just clear, I just clear. Like that's like, you have to be like, get rid of that threat, clear the space, so that when they do spawn the mutations, you have some room to run, and you're not going to run into a random zombie that just hits you twice, and that's it. That's how you go down. because that sucks. You know what I'm saying? So you have to, but it's like wild bot pace. It's like you're together, but you're aggressively handling your section of the map, and then you're aggressively handling the next section of your map. You're aggressively and very quickly checking your corner for that sleeper. You're aggressively sniping down that thing. You're aggressively running and then shooting to get the flank on that tall boy. You're aggressively, quickly being careful. You know, it's like all the rules, but faster, faster, faster. You know, they have more health. They need more concentrated fire. They need you to move more quicker. And I think that people who are really determined to make that happen alone in Nightmare are going to be able to do it. Because it will find other players that have put in that amount of time. It's just whether or not it's fun enough along the way through the fails and through the variations of who you play with that you'll even make it that far. You know, and yeah, I just, you know, I've had a wonderful time seeing an upsurge and seeing that people like the way that I break down a game like this. Before this, I was playing Warhammer Vermintide. I was playing Cyberpunk 2077, and I think I'm gonna mix it up. I'm still gonna play this game, but as for my like coverage of the game, I think during early access, when I started to see the kind of issues that I was seeing, and the habits and the instincts that I was seeing come up to the surface in my quick play experiences, I knew that I wanted to be a part of the community of people that were giving people primers as to how to get started. So my basics breaking into veteran were just that. They weren't like, you know, master sessions and, you know, like deep probing of the math or anything like that, you know. But they were there to give people a conceptual approach to begin problem solving the game, you know, either alone or with their friends. And I think I did that. But if you guys really want to break down the approach to Nightmare and Nightmare builds, you're probably, you know, you're gonna have to probably watch squads, you know, teams of people, and they're out there. There's some good guys out there that are both on Twitch and on YouTube that are just killing it, man. They're killing it, and I give a lot of respect to them, you know. So yeah, that's my rant, and I'm gonna mix it up. I'm gonna return to variety for my own sanity, and to give myself some breathing room from this hard effort. And for anybody who was hoping that, you know, I would be like this purist, you know, back for blood channel, my apologies. You know, it's just how the cookie crumbles. But I do respect your time, and I hope that in the time that you spent with me, you enjoyed some of what you saw, you know. So thank you very much for that. And yeah, that's it. If you keep on watching my content, you'll see some other things get rotated in. But if for whatever reason you don't, thank you for whatever time you spend watching. I really appreciate it. Peace out.